Ron, do you feel the need for
speed? Yeah, I thought we were going to start that.
it's the worst. You're never going to be my wingman now. Never.
Revving up your engines. Listen to you howling, bro. Metal under tension, begging you to touch and go. Yeah, okay. So we're talking Top Gun today.
Not the original 1986, but the sequel, the legacy sequel, Top Gun Maverick.
Yes. I mean, we may touch on the original because I watched it for the first time.
Yeah, I know. Let's go. It's going to be a twofer today. Let's go. So today is another episode of Half a Clue movie review.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
really?
Loaded with, what's it called? Impromptu, terrible, vomit-inducing intros.
Yeah.
And also vomit-inducing, reviews.
Yeah, that's what we're all about here.
So we are going to watch. We already did watch, actually.
We're going to discuss Top Gun Maverick.
My name is Philip, and I'm here followed by.
Hey, I'm Ron. I'm also here. Talk to you.
All right. So this Top Gun Maverick came out this year.
It's supposed to come out, I think, in 1996? When was it?
Yeah, I know, originally.
When was this movie originally slated? Thanks to COVID. I don't know.
This one was originally supposed to come on I think, it was supposed to be in 2021.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then they pushed it back. I mean, they actually pushed it back several times. It used to be early 2021, and then or even it was supposed to be maybe 2020 at one point. But they moved it to 2021, then they moved it again.
Push.
Yeah, and so and it's crazy. I think Amazon, Netflix, and all the streaming services, pretty much. Those are the main ones. Amazon, Netflix, and Apple. They offered to buy the film.
Huh.
Yeah, because they were just like, we'll put it on streaming service and stuff like that.
And Tom Cruise was like, fuck you.
Yeah, no. Tom Cruise was like, fuck you. But then and the Paramount was like, oh fuck. But then they went behind his back and they were secretly saying okay.
Oh.
And then they told Tom, and Tom was like, we're only willing to do it if it's they're willing to give us $700 million for it. And then of course they were like, okay, we'll leave. Yeah. Which is, considering the box office results, wow. So it's a gamble that paid off really well. And also his stock has been climbing weirdly. He has this weird new career renaissance since Mission Impossible 3. It's he did art, he was at first Tom Cruise, a Top Gun star, action star, risky business to Top Gun. Then and then he did art house films. And then for a while after the couch jumping incident, his stock kind of went down for
Everyone
a bit.
was like, this guy's weird.
Yeah, I know. We always knew he was weird. I mean, even in The Outsiders, where he's like, wow, in a Francis Ford Coppola
hey,
film.
I am a human person. I hang out with you. We are having fun, yeah?
That's why I love Tom Cruise. He's not a person. How do you think he survives all this shit? And
we are making jokes right now, aren't we, friends? That's my Tom Cruise impression.
But yeah, I think it's crazy. This is the first time I think Tom Cruise film. And it's crazy to think because considering how prolific this guy, he's probably maybe the last huge movie star in the world where he could just in any film he's done, as long as it's action oriented or something, he could command an audience to go to him.
The only person I see that is kind of building that level of I guess demand respect or whatever in terms of being a Hollywood star is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's not even
even there, because also the amount of
worldwide appeal,
worldwide appeal and stuff. Yeah, The Rock is getting up there though. I do give. Yeah, he might be. I mean, in terms of, but he has nowhere near the classics or star power or acting abilities or anything like that. And Tom Cruise was actually nominated for 2 Academy Awards.
Yeah. I just mean in the sense of he's producing his own shit.
Yeah.
He's constantly he's cranking out his own things. And he does draw a crowd. People do really like him. He's got that charisma and everything. Difference is he seems like he has a soul or something.
Yeah. It's weird.
I'm just kidding, Tom. God, please don't sue me.
No, I respect you, Tom. Especially when we talk about Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is such a weird title. But I have mad props to you, especially the fact that you're able to hold an entire film studio by their neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's this crazy thing that this is the first Tom Cruise film that hit an over $100 million opening weekend.
Wow. First one?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Because Tom Cruise's
what about
films,
all the missions and the Impossibles?
Because those films have never went over 65, but they have legs in the sense that like their drop off.
Yeah.
Because they all rely on the word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Their drop offs, like it's crazy. It only has 65 million, and usually when 65 million opening weekend, you get like 300 million at most.
Yeah.
But Tom Cruise somehow made a $65 million opening weekend to like 700 million.
That's loco crazy.
Yeah, because he has like also strong arms. The fucking theater is like, my theater is a theatrical experience. And to be fair, the Fallout. Oh fuck, the last
he holds
one.
him up against the wall with his tiny arms. He's like, you keep this in the theater.
But in a weird way, like he's now their last friend. You know what I mean? Yeah. And look, this is like a superhero film that he was able to get $51 million weekend.
Yeah. Can we talk about like the effects or I guess not even just the effects, but the practical technical shit that they had to do?
Oh yeah.
Like,
let's get into that real quick. Okay, so the first
because that blows my mind. Honestly, that's the thing that got me into the theater to watch this movie. Besides the podcast.
There's a lot of things this podcast is forcing me not to watch. All right, before we get into it, let's just give a brief premise to Top Gun. I know I just realized
he flies in a jet real fast.
Yeah, that's pretty much okay. So. Set many years. Technically, it should be 40 years, so which makes Rooster's age make no sense. But whatever. I let a lot of things slide. Maybe I'm a little biased. For like I said, like many years, like almost after this film, after the original 1986 Top Gun film, and Maverick, who continuously skipped promotion so he could still fly as a captain, is called back after a very experimental opening mission or opening testing for a new plane, is called back to the Top Gun Naval Academy to train a new group of pilots.
You're going back to Top Gun, kid. You're reckless. You're 59-year-old man.
to train them for an impossible mission. And with all life, to vomit-inducing stakes. And that's pretty much it. And he's still haunted by the death of his best friend best friend Goose, whose son Rooster is also one of the pilots he's training.
Yeah, he kept with the bird theme, so good for him.
But the age once again doesn't make sense. But whatever.
No, should be like 30 something.
No, he should be like almost 50.
Oh shit!
1986 to 2000 to like this was taking place in 2021.
Yeah, and he was already like a little kid at that point too, right? Like I mean, not a little kid. He was alive and like talking and shit. He was like what, like 8?
Yeah, so it's like 35 plus years.
Yeah. So he should be like in his 40s.
No, yeah, exactly. But it's whatever. I like I said, I'm letting it slide because Miles Teller was kind of born for this role.
His mustache is from 1986.
Exactly. All right, let's get into the real reason why we watched it, as Ron mentioned it.
Yeah.
The effects.
Why am I here?
It's like honest. Okay, look, I'll be honest. Okay, look, even though I'll probably watch a Top Gun film no matter what, even though like watching back Top Gun like over the years, every time I watch it, it gets worse. It's a film that I watched as a kid. It was like fundamental. It was like one of the few things I watched with my dad because he completely misinterpreted the film. And then, well, we'll get into it. But every year I watch it, and then once I get into more, filmmaking, editing, all that shit, I'm like, this is not good. and then with the HD, you could see like the strings, and one of the shots where like the planes are turning like right to left. You see the strings holding them up, and I'm just like, okay, yeah. There's a lot of problems with the original. The soundtrack still slaps, but whatever.
Yeah, I watched it for the first time this weekend. I'd never had really any interest in Top Gun. I just never did. But watching it, like, it was like, of course you get exposed to it through like the fucking just like, living in America. And it was pretty much exactly as I was expecting it to be. But the action scenes were fun, and it's like, it's very,
especially for the time.
Yeah, it's very cheeseball, like 80s, like, action kind of thing. Romantic. It's like, look how they make for love in the moonlight in the silhouette, or like whatever, and they're like zipping through, and you can be my co-pilot or my wingman anytime.
No, you can be mine.
It's just it was good. You know, I don't know. I didn't love it. I'm probably not gonna rewatch it like
Yeah.
ever. But
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I the only reason why I rewatched it is was because there's always like someone I know that hasn't watched it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? Maybe I don't know if I'm fighting myself. It's like I'm going back to like an abusive ex or something constantly. I'm like, it's gonna get better. And I put on my wife beater, and I'm like, no, it's not.
It's like I imagine if it was something you watched when you were younger or something else, like, you know, I could see why you're into it. Or if you're actually like, I guess, in the Navy
Or like
whatever.
Because
when I went to watch the new one, the new Top Gun Maverick, it was over Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
And it was just like
Genius marketing move, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Tons of old people, and I mean like older people, like 50s, 60s plus.
Yeah.
And like they're wearing like bomber jackets and shit and like, you know, Top Gun t-shirts and whatever. And I'm like, wow, this like really struck a chord in like the older market and stuff. And literally dudes that were like sitting next to me, like whenever he'd be like, well, I'm not going to take your orders or like whatever. And he's like, yeah.
Mine was different, but it was still like my when I watched it on opening day, it was mostly young people.
Yeah.
But to be fair, because like older people don't come during like, you know, 7, 9, 10 p.m.
Yeah, exactly. I went to like a morning
so
morning viewing on a Memorial Day weekend, like on a Sunday. Yeah, of course.
When I watched, it was mostly old guys, but it was almost all guys. I think Anna, my girlfriend, was like the only girl in the crowd. It was all dudes, and then super bro-y dudes too. Like I'm talking about before I came in, we came a little early, and they were like pumping their chests, like like Top Gun. and then it was kind of, you know, the beginning, the da na na na. They were humming. They were like, everyone's like, the one guy said no no. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I think it's built and marketed and, you know, just made for certain dudes. Yeah. And, you know, good for you, man.
Yeah, good for you.
If you're having a good time, that's awesome. You know, keep movie theaters alive. Go.
Yeah. But for the non bro, dudes.
Yeah.
Like I guess us. So basically weirdos like us. So I guess what made us watch it? What made you watch it? Besides this podcast.
Besides the podcast. No, honestly, just hearing a lot of the behind the scenes footage, like seeing like the sneak peek shit where they're just like, oh, look, here's like the dog fights or whatever. And the technical stuff that they were really pushing of like, you know, they developed all these like 6 different IMAX cameras that fit inside of a cockpit of a plane. And it's like, that's nuts. Cause I remember like, I don't know. I remember like when The Dark Knight was coming out. And like how like it was crazy that like Christopher Nolan was using IMAX cameras for like the car sequences.
Yeah.
They accidentally broke one, and they're these giant, massive fucking like, you know, cameras. And now they're just like they're stuffing them in cock planes and multiple, like, you know what I mean. There's one that's attached like underneath the plane, and the way that they're shooting stuff, it looks insane. And also when we went to go see, I think, Doctor Strange, and they showed the sneak peek of like them training and everything. I was just like, wow, I was like, that actually looks pretty cool. Like I'm actually looking forward to watching that now. So yeah, that was pretty much it.
I give so much props to Paramount's marketing team, because like I've seen a lot of people except our one friend Ricardo, who might come up. He's immune to it. Well, actually, he didn't watch Doctor Strange, right? So maybe if he watched that scene, he might have. Yeah, but
he's just like, I don't give a fuck.
What's it called? But like, you know, even my girlfriend Anna was like, this is just way too bro-y for me. But we watched the Doctor Strange thing, and just like a lot of the marketing, and like she's like on her phone, she's like, because she watched Doctor Strange, she got like, you know, Google overloads were like giving her ads about like the behind the scenes stuff. She's like, you know what, that's kind of cool. And then they somehow got the non-Top Gun people to go and watch it. Yeah, kudos to them, honestly.
I watched it in IMAX. I wanted to make sure to do that because it's like, that's like the reason I'm watching this movie, and it was worth it. I think it was really fucking fun.
Almost all of it was shot in the expanded IMAX aspect ratio. There's only a few, like the romance scenes, my least favorite part, but
it was somehow jarring when it went back to like, you know, normal aspect ratios. I was like, hey, what? I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like, this is a movie, like a regular movie, or it's trying to be a regular movie. It's like, look, here's the romance. Don't you love Jennifer? Jennifer Connelly just really has a thing for Tom Cruise in this movie.
I know.
She's just like, oh, from the second she sees him, she's like, oh,
yeah,
fuck that guy.
Why? Because I guess like they were trying to go to, because they like, she was mentioned in the first film, which is annoying.
She was.
Yeah. She's the one. She was Tom Cruise's love and affair before Kelly McGillis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so for some reason that one line turned into an entire character in the new one.
He sees a kid. Hey, Penny, is that you? Oh my God, you've gotten so big. And it's like, I don't know. Who the fuck are these people?
Yeah.
Whatever. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's like, gosh, it's oh my God. It's like, dude, Tom Cruise's what's it? I'm just gonna read off exactly my notes. Tom Cruise's constant dedication to practical stunts and exhilarating action choreography is prominent in this film, and it's insane. Like, so like the first with like the jets. Like in the first one, they used model planes.
Yeah.
And also because everybody was training their ass off except Tom Cruise apparently. I mean, they're training their bodies to look good, but they're not actually like to withstand G-force because Tom had the only F-14 Tomcat, and everyone else was fake. Because like everybody passed out. Yeah, and they didn't want to do like as much training as Tom. Because Tom was like, "We could do it. Let me put my head in the water for 5 minutes and almost pass out."
Yeah, he's a crazy person.
And they were like, Val's like, "I'm good." And then poor Anthony Edwards played Goose in the first film. We had to be in the back. He's probably throwing up.
Yeah.
So this time apparently he demanded, even for people like who showed up for like 2 frames in the film.
Yeah.
They had to commit to 6 months of intense naval training for flight. Even people who appeared in 2 frames. There was like an Asian female pilot that showed up in 2 frames in the bar.
Yeah.
And she never showed up in any of the flying scenes. She also went through the 6 months of naval training.
You know what? If I'm getting sponsored by Tom Cruise to do that, I might do that.
Yeah, I know. That'd be cool.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Just to be like, yeah, I can sustain like 8 G-forces. How about you? Like, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. So first he did that. So like everybody, especially the main pilots we'll talk about in a bit. They're like they could withstand the G-force and the training and everything like that. And 2, he made a deal with the military. And the deal was $11,000 an hour to fly any of these planes.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's just crazy.
Yeah. It's insane.
And they had 800 hours of aerial footage, by the way. So
wow,
it's so fucking crazy. And what's called, you know, latest new pilots, and they literally went to different camera companies like the IMAX Corporation, Sony, and stuff like that to invent new cameras to fit in these planes. And also he spent like 5+ years like flying for this movie.
That's crazy to me too. Like the fact that he's actually flying a fucking jet. Someone was like, yeah, Tom Cruise, you know, like people make that joke that like, oh, you know, people like act like, oh yeah, like, oh, Bruce Willis, like he's a real astronaut or something, like, you know, because he was fucking in that one movie, or Tom Hanks. Yeah. And it's like, no, Tom Cruise, he's actually a fighter pilot now.
Yeah,
like he made himself into a fighter pilot for this movie. That's crazy.
Dude, you know he's actually going to shoot a movie in space? Financed by Elon Musk.
That doesn't surprise me.
So
No,
he's actually going in training like as of now after the Mission Impossible to be an astronaut.
Oh my God, dude.
Which is awesome.
He's going to be 60 years old.
In space.
Dude. Is that I mean, well, I guess they shot William Shatner into space. So.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. Oh my gosh. Tom.
Dude,
Okay.
Tom's insane. And then yeah, just with all the planes and stuff like that, and forcing his co-stars to actually, you got to keep up with me. And apparently they weren't. And he's 59.
Yeah, that's hard. It's like, I think anybody else, it's like, oh yeah, you just got to keep up with this like 59-year-old man. It's like, oh, that's not that crazy, is it? And then it's like, oh no, but it's Tom Cruise. And it's like, oh, well, fuck. Like, that's like a 18-year-old on meth.
That's crazy. Dude, he starts off with this film. Okay, so let's just have opening sequence real quick. The Dark Star, the fucking
yeah,
which apparently was actually so fast, and is it legit like actual like experimental plane that China like launched a satellite to follow it. Yeah, just hilarious.
They're like, it's a goddamn UFO in our airspace. What the hell?
So it literally starts off with him running. Right. Like he's like running as preparing, and he's on a treadmill. He can't stop. Like that's why I was laughing my ass off when I was watching the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning trailer. Yeah. There's like this like a good like 10% of the trailer is like there's this one long extended tracking shot of him running.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, he's running. He's running.
Even in a film where he's just flying a plane, there's got to be a running scene. Yeah. I got to be running.
And then
he runs twice. He runs when they crash too.
Yeah, I know. He runs again. Oh gosh, but dude, that Dark Star sequence was like a huge like showing your dick moment where he unzips his pants as like the films unzips his pants, takes his dick out, and say, "Well, this is what's gonna be. It's only gonna grow bigger after this."
Yeah. Okay.
That's a weird analogy. That's how I felt. It's like, holy shit, that was fucking dope.
Did he? Were they actually flying the fucking experimental plane?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in some shots, yes, some shots, no, because apparently because of the cost of the plane, it's like 80 million or whatever.
I imagine.
Yeah. Like they said, okay, Tom, you can't go that crazy. So they actually had a pilot to restrain him.
The only people who can hold Tom Cruise in check is the American military.
Dude, did you see I know this is a brief. It's all related to this, but James Corden, like apparently Tom like kidnapped James Corden. For the it's like a bit for the thing.
No,
but he didn't know exactly what was gonna happen. So and they put him on like a plane, like a jet. And then they had another plane just like record, and James Corden was like about to pass out. and he, you know, the thing where he in the first Top Gun where he
goes upside
down on top of the MiGs. He did that. And,
oh my god!
And like you see him, and James like, oh, he's having a panic attack the entire time.
Yeah,
and Tom is just laughing like, woo.
Oh my god, this guy's a real maverick.
I know.
I think.
I was gonna say, and that, you know that shot with Ed Harris, he's like waiting at the gates, and as like the dark side just flies over him.
Yeah,
that was just one take because it destroyed the entire set. and then they tried it again, like they tried to just test, but it broke the glass of the camera.
That's awesome.
Which is just crazy.
That's so cool. That was like honestly one of my favorite shots in the movie too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that was real. Like you can just tell that shit's real. Oh, it's so cool.
It's like
okay,
I know we're just jerking this off. Well, let's
just like, on the technical shit, the actual story.
wait, I guess like, let's give like credit to besides just Tom Cruise and his son choreo and stuff.
Yeah,
like Joseph Kosinski. Like I know like I never blame him for the story of his films, but like this guy has been kind of like coming up as low-key one of my favorite visual like directors. Like he's not as like bombastic as like Nicholas Winding Refn or anything like that, but this guy does have a distinct visual style. Like Tron Legacy, dude, I fucking love that film.
It's one of the best looking movies
ever.
Super underrated. Well, maybe properly rated.
Yeah, properly rated. Well, the thing is, that film is like his debut.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, he did the Halo commercials and stuff, and his Halo commercials. We'll talk about that in one of our episodes whenever. And he made his Halo commercials look better than the TV show.
Oh, did they make a TV show?
Oh, I know.
That didn't seem like it.
Oh,
is that actually Halo?
It's called Halo Master Cheeks. And Oblivion, which even though like I said, the story was kind of whack, but it still looked really dope, and just like design and kind of like this weird like high bloom look to all of that was really cool.
Also starring Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And then Only the Brave, which is a firefighter movie, but he made it look really fucking dope. And that was actually probably his best character work. Like he like worked with a reduced budget and shit. So and
Spiderhead.
And Spiderhead is coming up with Chris Hemsworth and Miles Teller.
Oh
yeah, Miles Teller was also in Only the Brave. So
I'm intrigued just with the title alone.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna be interesting. It's about inmates who have to take this experimental drug and stuff like that, and they're testing it out, and then it's like in 100 years in the future and stuff, which just fits his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And Claudio Miranda, who was a cinematographer like Life of Pi, Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and everything that Joseph Kosinski made, I think like he's also super underrated. Like just all the shit that he did. I think like those two, also Secret Weapons and stuff like that. If anything, I almost kind of want them to make a Mission Impossible film, even though the last two were pretty good.
Yeah, no, definitely. That seems like they would make a fantastic combination.
Yeah. A futuristic. He's just gonna be 100 Tom Cruise, and it's gonna be a futuristic fucking Mission Impossible. Yeah. And Eddie Hamilton, who also, I think if anything, his editing work, like, because the first film was like, was like lauded for the fucking editing, but I think
some good editing.
Yeah, no, it was good, but then it was like, but I think this guy just like, it's like, I think this guy, considering it was 800 hours of footage.
Yeah,
I think he chose the best shots, the best looking one, and I was able to understand for the most part of like where everything was. This guy, I think, is, if this film doesn't get nominated for best editing, travesty.
Yeah, it's like there's great like being able to keep track of like all the planes that are like just fighting or moving around each other when 4 of them look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, and like all the pilots and everything. Like, yeah, it's just that's great. That's great being able to like, actually keep track of all of that and you're able to follow along with the story. Good stuff.
All right, and then before we get to the training sequence and the final mission, let's talk about, as you were saying, the rest of the story. That's the stuff that we've been avoiding this entire time. In a weird way, this film, even though it improved in every aspect of the original film, but they still inherited the aspects of the original film. Let's first start off with the fucking Penelope, Penny, Benjamin romance. Like, why? Why? This film didn't need a romance.
No, it absolutely did not. Like,
you know that scene where she was saying like these pilots are your responsibility? That could have been said by Iceman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would have been more impactful.
Yeah. It's like they introduced this character who's essentially a new character. And she's like,
oh, she knew, but Top Gun lore Mavericks, just saying her line. She was mentioned in one line in the original.
She's just around, and it's just like her whole thing is she's just really into Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
She's really likes Maverick. Like from the moment he shows up, she's like, oh, this guy's awesome. I love him. I'm so glad he's back. And that's pretty much it. That's like the depth of their relationship.
That is.
Yeah.
She like they have had even less scenes. I thought the romance in the first one was fast, but this one was just like they had like
yeah. No, I was watching the original, and Rosie came in, and then she was like, oh, like she's like, they seem like they're moving fast or something to the relationship he has with that chick. What's her name? The
Kelly McGillis's
McGillis character. Yeah. And I was like, this is literally like the third time they're talking. He flirts with her at the bar. She shoots him down. He asks her out later. They meet up.
She finds an instructor. Right?
Yeah. And then it's like, and then now they're just doing this, and then they're having that slow motion, like silhouette bang scene.
She's like, I didn't want to. It's like I criticized your fly pattern because I didn't want to know that I've fallen for you. Mom. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then there was like, you're the love of my life. And then in this one, she died, or I don't know why. They didn't even mention what happened to her too.
No, she's just gone. She just
disappeared off screen and stuff like that. And in a weird way, I think I wondered if she was back, like that character, not necessarily, or it would have maybe been better in the sense that they don't have to reintroduce a new romance or something.
Yeah. Or they just not have done a romance.
Yeah, or not done a romance.
It would have been completely fine if he was just like, yeah, like my wife or whatever. She's like back over in this other place, but I'm here to do work. Like I'm here to fucking be a business or like, an instructor. That's it. But calls her later. Hey, I'm really scared to go on this mission to these dudes. Oh, these pilots are your responsibility. Oh, thanks, honey. And like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, that's all you fucking needed. You didn't need this whole other side story. But I don't know. I mean, like the main story itself, it's like efficient enough.
Yeah,
like,
well, it's way better than the first one. The first one didn't have a story.
No, it did not.
It didn't have
I remember the first one.
Like,
I was like, where's this leading to exactly?
It's all characters, moments, and fine, whatever. And it's
volleyball.
It's just moment to moment, and then finally at the end they have a random emergency mission.
Yeah, and this one I actually like that they're training specifically for like
one thing.
A mission that seems impossible.
There's a structure? What, in a Top Gun film?
Yeah, and then they're like training them, and he's like shows them like, oh, I'm gonna show you kids that this is how you do it and whatever. And I don't know, like it was actually. So I did enjoy this movie a lot more than the first one.
Yeah, it like actually had a structure. There's even the mission had a structure. Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3.
Yeah,
the mission in the first film was like, MiGs are coming, shoot them down.
Oh, they shot and are shooting at us. Oh wait, no, we're good. Yay.
This one was actually cool. It's like, the phase 1 is like, you have to go through the mountain, then you have to make these impossible bullseye shots, then you have to do like go over this intense hill and do these G's,
super steep incline, hit like 10 G's, but don't worry, he's done it before, as he did in the beginning of the movie. And then he has to like, drop out, and then you probably have to deal with dogfighting and everything else, and it's like against these planes that are like way more technically logically advanced than ours, which I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like for this kind of mission, this is like, wouldn't they like bust out like some super secret like jets for like the Americans for the, like them to, I don't know, whatever.
Possibly.
It's just nitpicking, but like, I'm just like, I feel like
this unnamed country has more advanced.
yeah.
Whatever.
Don't they say Iran? Do they say like
no, they don't.
They don't.
They purposely make it unnamed.
I swore I thought they said something like that.
No,
I was
no,
just
no.
like, wow. I was like, did they actually name drop Iran or something?
Well, I
was
mean, they
like, that's
mentioned
kind
like
of fucked up.
They mentioned like other things and like other countries and stuff, but the actual country
they're attacking is like unnamed.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's
Yeah.
actually way preferred.
Yeah, that's
They
probably
kept it vague. They're
yeah.
like, there's snow, and they're like,
know.
don't worry about it.
It's Russia.
Don't worry about what
don't
country
shoot us
this.
down, please.
Don't worry, this country this is doesn't matter. Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, gosh, yeah, they didn't fucking need the romance. They didn't fucking need the romance.
No.
It is kind of a super sore spot.
I did like most of the actual like pilot characters, like what are they?
That's
Bob.
Wait,
Hammer.
let's go into the non-Tom Cruise pilots. So Rooster, we'll talk about Rooster in a bit with Maverick and Rooster's relationship. Hangman's my favorite of the non-Rooster and Maverick pilots. Yeah, Glenn Powell, in the sense that like I could tell this guy's like he has a fuck ton of charisma. That like this guy apparently he was actually auditioning for Rooster.
Oh.
And then he almost got it, but then Miles Teller and Joseph like Kaczynski were like just super tight. And also Miles Teller just physically resembles Rooster more.
Yeah, he does.
I mean not Rooster, Goose.
How appropriate for this film.
Yeah. And then so they went with Miles Teller. But Glenn Powell, they literally wrote in an entire new character for this actor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I could tell this guy is like I've already liked this guy in like his in the Richard Linklater film. One day we'll cover it maybe, but Everybody Wants Some, the spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused.
Oh yeah.
And then he plays a different character. He plays kind of like a loser, like with the mustache. Yeah,
interesting.
And then but he was super charismatic in this one. This one too, like whatever little scenes he had where it's like smiles, like I'm like this guy has like movie star charisma and like kind of charm.
Yeah,
and I felt like they could have done more with him, but that's on. We'll talk about that in a bit. The other one's Phoenix, Bob, the Bob whose code name is Bob.
Yeah, he's Bob.
And Phoenix, the female pilot, who, I have complaints about like when they chose the pilots they chose for the final mission. Yeah, and Payback and Fanboy.
They were kind of there.
They were just kind of there. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
It's like I was like when they chose Phoenix and Bob, or even Fanboy and Payback over Hangman, who was like the best fucking pilot. He was even better than Rooster. Yeah, I was like, really, these four who failed the fucking thing got in before Hangman, who was like the best fucking pilot.
Yeah, they like established early on this guy is like. He's the best of these. He's kind of arrogant, but
if anything, he's most like Maverick.
Exactly. Yeah. He was basically Maverick Jr. because like in the first one, he was kind of leaving people like out to dry or whatever, and then he kind of learned like, oh no, I gotta really watch my friends' backs or whatever, and that's like the whole thing of his arc in the first one. So that's essentially Hangman. So it made more sense for him to like focus his energy on trying to turn Hangman into what like he could be, but instead it's kind of like still focuses on Rooster and then just kind of leaves Hangman out to till he has this final moment
to dry.
Yeah. It's like that's kind of fucked up.
And he's the only one that gave I guess Rooster too in like one of the training sequences. Obviously Rooster has talent, but like Hangman was one of the only ones, kind of like how Maverick versus Viper in the first film. Yeah, where like Hangman gave him like a run for his money.
Yeah, he was just like, oh wow, like you are good or whatever. That's about it.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I was like so disappointed in the final thing where I thought like I get it, like he came in the last second and destroyed the last, I think it's Su-57s or something. That's the enemy planes. Yeah. But he didn't like I wish he was in a dogfight. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I think that would have been dope to see the best fucking pilot in a dogfight. But instead we got Phoenix and Bob. Just like
they didn't get in a dogfight either.
No, they just like this. I'm like, really? Those people are there? Okay, whatever. Yeah. And then I remember like the advertising, they were trying to make such a big deal, Phoenix and Bob, especially like Phoenix and stuff. Like her first female pilot, she's gonna be so important. She's so strong. She motivates everybody. I didn't get any of that. No. I didn't get any of that in the fucking film.
No, she was just kind of just around. That's about it.
That's in a weird way. Maybe I preferred that because I like prefer the more focus on like Maverick and Rooster and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The emotional core.
It's for this film,
Yeah.
It's like I feel like that's about as good as it'll get.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Wait. What about the admirals specifically? I mean, there's Hammer played by Ed Harris and Cyclone by Jon. Great to see Jon Hamm. Whenever I see Jon Hamm, like Jesus.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see him, and he did a pretty good job. I liked him. Ed Harris always being around to provide that like older angry guy. Like same for him. Like just always happy to see them. And yeah, I don't know. I think they just played their part, which was, pretty one note, honestly. But it's kind of fine.
Yeah. Their phone just went on. Was it me or you? Is it called?
I think that was you. My phone's on silent.
What's it called? It's unfortunate. It's
Not
like
to put you on blast or anything.
It's okay. I should be. What's it called? This is a recurring thing for Half a Clue. There always has to be one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always got to be a ding in here.
I know. But it's for Cyclone. By the way, badass code name. By the way, call sign. Jon Hamm. He played. If anything, I liked his stern admiral more than the admirals from the first one. He just has more of a screen presence. Yeah, and also like the fact that he wasn't so stern and immutable to the point where he realizes, okay, that I do care about the lives of my pilot and for the mission, and he did let Top Gun stuff like that. So it was cool. There was like a little bit to that character, a little bit.
Yeah,
little bit.
Turns out he was the Top Gun all along.
I know. And then at one point I was like, are they gonna let Jon Hamm fly? I'm just kidding, but they're not gonna.
No.
But yeah. It would have been cool actually to see. I'm already thinking about the image of Jon Hamm in like the fighter pilot. I think he would fit work really well. You know what's funny? Jon Hamm would be more age appropriate for Rooster than Miles Teller.
That's ridiculous.
That's actually should be. That's actually like technically what Rooster's age should be. That's fucking hilarious. All right, and now let's get into the meat. The meat of this film is the relationship between Maverick and Rooster. And I have to say, for the most part, I think that was the right approach. Like Maverick being now the mentor character and Rooster, him training Rooster and trying to get Rooster's confidence back up. And, and now Maverick is now like a surrogate father to Rooster and try and repair that relationship after, in his way, his meddling has kind of strained it. And I think for the most part, the emotions worked for me, I think, because also by excellent work by both Tom Cruise and Miles Teller. Like Tom doesn't just play like his regular Tom Cruise. I mean, he does the smiling thing every once in a while, but technically that's I give like because he started with Maverick, right? But he does play a Maverick that's like aged, and it feels like a 50-year-old Maverick in the sense that he's living with those consequences from his piloting career and stuff like that, and the guilt and wrack that came from losing Goose, and him actually trying to help out the new pilots, particularly Rooster. I thought that was the right approach to do in terms of making that your emotional core of the film. Yeah. And Rooster, I think Rooster did Miles Teller as Rooster. One, he embodies what I imagine like. Well, I mean, if this film was made 10 years ago, like a younger son of Goose, unless he was angry and bitter towards Maverick for letting his. I mean, even though it's not his fault, like letting his dad die. Yeah, and he played that well. He played and then he also brought what's it called? Like kind of sternness to the film, but also like when he sang the Great Balls of Fire. Like I was listening to the soundtrack, I'm like, dude, he pulls off it better than Anthony Edwards. Yeah, he seems like he looks a lot like he seems to embody that Goose. Kind of like, like angry Goose. Angry Goose. Yeah. I mean, geese are pretty angry. Geese are assholes. That's true. That's it called. It's did you know that Miles Teller was supposed to be I think we were talking about it's like La La Land. Oh, I thought you were gonna say like Tom Cruise made him live with geese for like 6 months before this film, and then roosters, so that he could embody what it meant to be a goose rooster. Anyway, Miles is always trying to sing in every film that he's in. Is he really? Or he's trying to sneak in there. He's like his bitterness for not being in La La Land. What's it called? It's hilarious. And it's good to see Miles Teller back. He's having a bit of a comeback year this year with this film and The Offer on Paramount Plus. Oh yeah. So and also another film, Spiderhead, the new Joseph Kosinski sci-fi film. Sweet. So good to see Miles Teller because I missed this guy from fucking Whiplash. Good that you're coming back.
Whiplash
full
was
force.
the film where I was like, oh, I like this guy, and then he kind of wasn't in that much for a while.
Yeah. It was like side characters. And he did a lot of like military stuff. Yeah, so I was good. But what did you think about that relationship? Do you think it was did you think like it was the right approach to make that kind of like the emotional core of the film?
Yeah. I mean, it makes the most sense. It is like the most obvious.
Yeah.
But again, for
This
Top
film.
Gun,
Yeah,
like
Top
for this
Gun.
film, like I wouldn't expect any less. Like that's just, I think that's fine. And I think they handled it fairly well. And eventually, like, you know, his anger towards him and stuff. I don't know. Seems kind of dumb that like, it's like he pulled his papers when he was younger. And like, he's just like, oh, why'd you pull my papers or whatever? And it's like, yeah, it's like, well, because he was trying to basically like, you know, just like get him dropped out of the Air Force or whatever. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like you could have more pull or something. Like you could actually really get him kicked out if you want to. Or like,
Oh, he's only a captain.
yeah,
at the
I guess
point.
so.
Yeah.
Like just fucking talk to him. I don't know. Like it just seems like super short sighted. Like even on his mom's behalf, where it's like she's dying and she's like, I want you to destroy my son's career. Like it's like what?
Yeah.
But again,
Probably because
whatever.
like you know Goose and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I understand why, but it doesn't make. It's just like it just seems so short sighted. Like, yeah, this kid is like, you know, he's going through all this. Like, it feels like he's not gonna stop. So like, why would you do that? Like, wouldn't you want him to just be trained to be better? I don't know.
But
Whatever.
That's why Maverick regrets it, right? You know, people make mistakes. And also, Maverick being short-sighted, that's totally within his character.
I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Has he ever been like thinking the long game like that much?
Yeah, you know, in the long storied saga of Maverick, this is
He's always like, yeah, let me just like, dude, he blew up an $80 million plane in the context of the story.
Yeah, the story. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. It just seemed a little silly to me. Like
Silly
it seemed
Top
like
Gun?
yeah, it just seemed like it's like they couldn't just bank on the fact that like he's still angry that his father died because like they kind of cleared him of that in the first movie.
Yeah.
And then the fact that it's like over 30 years ago that it's like, yeah, or it's like closer to 40 years ago, like, yeah, it doesn't really make sense why he'd still be so angry.
Oh, I mean, he's not
about
just
it.
angry about that.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. So like, that's what they added the like, oh, here's this element to the fact that like, you know, we got him fired or we got him almost kicked out of the military at one point because he doesn't want him to do it because he's saying, I don't know. It's like they could have done something a little bit more nuanced, I guess, with them. But again, this is like Top Gun. So like,
Right. Well, nuance would mean less time for flying.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, I'm fine
So they have
with
to be
it.
as effective as like.
Because I didn't really care about any of that stuff. Anytime they're like talking or hanging out outside of the planes, I'm like, go back to the planes.
Yeah, I
Get
agree.
back in those planes. I don't give a shit. Just
But it was enough there
fly.
that like when they finally teamed up and he was sitting in the backseat pilot.
Yeah.
In the F-14. I got like, let's talk about that final fucking mission.
yeah.
Oh, I got goosebumps
great.
the entire fucking time. Like, especially after they did their mission and you see the fruits of their, you know, the payoff to their training. And then, but when the defender missiles, I forgot what they're called. They're like
Sams.
Yeah, Sams. The Sams, right? Yeah, and they're shooting them down and stuff.
Mhm.
They're trying to shoot down the F-18s, and then you had to like go left and right. They had to put their flares. They're running out of flares.
Awesome.
Dude, that was fucking fantastic.
It was really cool. It was one of my favorite theater experiences like in a while where I was just like, oh, snap. Like it just, again, watching it there in IMAX and everything, it's just like, this is a full blown like just ride experience. Like how, you know, cinephiles hate. But
Yeah.
I was like, this is awesome. Like,
this is legit like a roller coaster, but the best type.
Yeah.
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 And this film was
Well, maybe
like-
not the second best. Maybe.
was that?
There could be more story substance, but that's
Oh no,
fine.
I'm talking about in terms of in terms of roller coaster rides.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just
Oh
saying,
wait, okay, there's
like,
Mad Max, I guess. Yeah,
yeah, there's like Mad Max or like
Mission
even
Impossible 6.
everywhere,
Wait,
everything
fuck,
everywhere.
you haven't seen that film yet, right? I keep on
No.
forgetting. I was like, I sometimes in my mind, I have this dream. It's weird. I dream about Ron that I took into the theater to watch Mission
It's
Impossible 6.
understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, but then we never did.
Wake up with a single tear.
Yeah. Oh no, everything all on I think is like they're very different. Like less. I mean, it is a roller coaster ride in emotions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, I mean, they'll do watch it in theaters. I'm actually watching it tonight.
Yeah. I'll watch it in theaters.
But in terms of just like, you know, just like pure like set piece to set piece to set piece in terms of like the theatrical nature of it, there's rarely anything that compares. Like there's Mad Max,
This
the
film
Mission
is-
Impossible films.
It's very cinematic.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
No, but yeah, yeah, it's a fantastic experience.
I
Like,
could see Martin
glued to your
Scorsese
chair.
going to this roller coaster ride.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
And the budget for this film was like reported like only like 150 to 170.
That kind of blows my mind.
That's like like that's $100 million less than like almost like 50 to $100 million less than like Spider-Man No Way Home or Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But I don't feel as much of like I don't feel as much of a oomph during the scenes as much as this film.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, also
It is
very
different. I mean, different. I'm talking in terms of like the action scenes and stuff like that.
Yeah, the action scenes will like, blow your hair back a little more in this one.
So
it is a lot closer to like Mad Max.
Yeah.
In that sense where it's like you really have to watch this in the movie theater to get like the full experience.
Yeah. That's why I'm thinking, okay. Okay. So I'm pretty much last thing we'll talk about before we get the final ratings, the Maverick and Iceman. One thing I have to say, I think they handled that beautifully regarding had the passing of the Iceman character and the final scene they had together. As somebody who was grown up with Val Kilmer films and also grown up with this film, it almost put a tear to my eyes. I was like, and how they dealt with Val's sickness, like real life sickness, incorporate that into the story. And I thought that was good, and that was a good way for that character to be handled, and that for that character to push the Maverick and stay on becoming an instructor. What about you?
I thought they handled it very well as well. Like it seemed like a very like nice way to like, I don't know. It's like I just haven't really seen Val Kilmer in a while, like in anything. Obviously, he's been dealing with a lot. He's had throat cancer and everything else. So seeing him there for like the first time in a while, it's like, whoa, kind of like takes you back. But it's like very sombering kind of moment. But yeah, they handled it with a lot of like, I think respectfulness and like kind of like depth to it. That it was nice to see him just like on screen again and just like hanging around. And yeah, it's like good for Val. I'm happy to see him.
Okay. You ready to get in the final ratings?
Yes.
Okay. On this episode, this is a historic episode. One, because we're talking about Top Gun. And two, we're going to introduce a new rating to our convoluted rating system already.
Yeah, okay.
Our ratings are, as you guys know, it's Ship Bucket, which is like absolutely the worst of the worst. No redeeming qualities. A bargain bin. We see this film being the quality of something we see in a bargain bin. Premium streaming with ads. We only watch this with ads, and because we don't really care about that film that much. Premium streaming. We will sign up for a streaming service for this film, or we will specifically get a no ad tier.
Yeah. I'm going out of my way a little bit to watch this without ads.
Yeah.
Basically.
And we have On the Shelf, and there's a Criterion collection, which is like we were willing to buy this film, physical media, put it on our shelf. It deserves to be on there. And Criterion is like we want to buy the extra nice packaging or whatever.
Give me the really nice one.
And in the museum, we feel like this film will stand test of time. It's in our personal museum, and this will last or whatever for our whatever criteria. It's like the granddaddy of films. But this time, we are going to introduce a new rating, and this will be my rating. I rate this film only in theaters, IMAX. This is rating given to a film whose theatrical experience is utterly insane, and also has the effect of never being quite the same at home.
Yeah,
the quality will quite diminish. And this is a film where I will only watch it, and I only recommend other people to watch it in theaters and nowhere else.
Yeah, if you're just like, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna watch some Top Gun Maverick. Like it's like, if you're watching it for the first time there, you're getting like a shred of the experience. Like there's a lot of films that I think like deserve to be watched in the theaters, but there's some that just really can only be experienced in the theaters to like get what the like desired effect. Otherwise, you're just like you're only getting a tiny bit of it. So yeah, I like it. I like the new edition. I'm cool with it.
What is your rating then?
Streaming with ads.
So not in theaters only?
I mean, yeah, in theaters only. I think it should be only viewed in the theaters, but at the same time, I don't think I'm going to watch it again. Anytime soon. I mean, like, I'm probably just going to say, yeah, like, if it's on, I'll be like, oh, look, Top Gun's on streaming with ads.
Millions of critics. What's it called? But does it blow your mind that this film is like the highest? Like it's tied with Everything Everywhere All at Once as the highest reviewed movie of the year.
It's more surprising that Everything Everywhere All at Once is near Top Gun. Like, to be honest, like that kind of blows my mind because it's like it doesn't surprise me too much that Top Gun did well because of the advertising campaign and the nostalgia and people who did. There are people I know who really like Top Gun, so it's like that doesn't shock me that much. But yeah, that's good for them.
Yeah. Let's go and get the grain, Ronald Mendez.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. What's it called? I thought it was gonna be a historic moment where we both have like in theaters, but you fucked with the moment. You fucked with it.
I'm sorry. I had to.
As he's
destroy
saying
the
this,
moment.
as he's taking out edible. I'm just kidding.
I'm not taking it.
I'm just kidding. All right, thank you guys for another episode of Half a Clue Movie Review. This is a Memorial Day episode. We are racing against the clock, and this will be up very soon on Memorial Day. We love you guys.
Yeah.
Top Gun. Down, no, 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 no. Are we gonna do this until we end? We are. No, 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 no. I'm doing this until Ron puts it on. No, 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 no.
Different song.
No, different. All right, bye, you guys.
This is a disaster.
Bye. Bye.